A couple of days ago, UCLA and Michigan State college basketball team had played against each other. And then this happened.
Second, Mick Cronin is pointing to the tunnel for him to get off the floor and get out of the game.
Now, at first glance, you're probably thinking, what happened? What made the coach want to go off on his player and kick him out of the game and eject him himself? Well, we're going to get there. But before we do get there, I put together a few videos that I think we all should check out so you can get a better context of where I'm going to be going with this. It isn't that coaches and anybody else that's a fan of basketball doesn't understand that you're going to get hit. Things are going to happen on a basketball court, but you want those things to happen naturally. You don't want it to look like it's been forced or someone did something out of intent with disregard to the safety of every one of those players out there are playing. Those players have children probably, parents, grandparents, pets that all love them, and the obligation of the leadership is to make sure those players go home the same way they came into the school. Now, the internet is in an uproar. They feel like the coach overreacted. But after I've watched these videos myself, all of them, we're about to watch together, I had to come to a understanding that did the coach overreact? Could be, maybe. But really pay attention to the score. Michigan State is up by 27 points. So you have to understand that this is the end of the game. You're losing by 27 points. And was that completely necessary? But hold on, before we even get too far in this conversation, let's go ahead and check out these videos.
Hopkins running the floor. Hopkins, oh, he is whacked. Hopkins running the floor.
Here's a look at the highlights. Early second half, he took an elbow to the head. You see right there, you see him buckled over by the wall. One of his players helped him off the court. Now, he did briefly come out of the game, but you'll see it here in just a moment. But 2 minutes later, on the live stream, you see him check back into the game. But multiple times over the next couple of minutes, we can see Ethan put his hands to his head. At one time, even like shaking the cobwebs off. Then about 12 minutes left in the game, just 2 minutes later, he starts pointing at his head and getting the attention of coaches. The play continues until a foul was called. Only then does he come out of the game, straight to the bench. And he stayed there on the bench the rest of the game. Eventually, you see him there with a towel over his head next to the water cooler, alone at the end of that bench. He didn't get up even to join team huddles. And when the game ended and the coaches and teammates left the court, Ethan was still on the bench, eventually helped off the court, as you see there, by one of his, what looks to be one of his teammates. Now, we know it's roughly a 2.5-hour drive back to Warner, Oklahoma from Grayson College. We confirmed with Muskogee EMS. They responded to an unresponsive person call on the Connor State campus at 9:16 p.m. They said that was the only call they responded to at the school all night. The patient was then taken under a full emergency status, lights and sirens, to Tulsa Hospital. Then yesterday, the school said Ethan had passed away after an injury during a game. Now, I did reach out to Connor State, who operates under the Oklahoma State University umbrella. Their PR department told me on their end it's still being investigated, and they did not have any additional details to share. Connor's home game today with Southern Arkansas Tech was canceled. We'll, of course, share updates on Ethan's death here on air and online at knwa.com.
My condolences go out to that young man's family. The last thing I would ever want to happen to me is if my sister called my phone and told me that my nephew had got seriously injured on a basketball court because he plays college basketball, actually for Mississippi. But the last thing I want is for her to call me and say something happened to him on the basketball court. And this would be the play that got him injured. So, in my opinion, I think that the coach handled the situation way more maturely than a lot of other coaches out there, because basketball is a competitive sport. It's your team versus my team. You haven't even seen the whole clip yet, but just based off of those two clips that I just showed you, you can see I'm going somewhere with this. Now, the internet and the people all on the internet are in uproar. They're talking about how this kid, and his name is Jamerson, he plays for UCLA, he needs to go into the portal and go to a different team, and how coaches are trying to hold their players back from elevating in the sport. When, in my opinion, I think that this was a teachable moment because you're already losing by 27 points. It's like when you watch the NBA players get mad at the other NBA players when they still are trying to score when it's like the last 3 seconds and they're getting blown out by 10 points. It just doesn't look right. I do have to admit that the hustle that young man displayed was top tier. I get it. It's a time and place for everything. And that time and place for that was nowhere near. That player, when you watch, he's already going up for a layup. He got you beat. And he's got both hands on the ball and he's about to dunk. There's no reason for you to do something close to what we just watched when dude literally yanked the guy from St. John's out of the air. Like that is 10 times worse than what we see here. Is what he should have been ejected by his own coach as well. Now, the kid that yanked the other kid out of the air, rumor has it is that he was arrested for it. Is that overdoing it? Yes. But, like I said, we get it. It's a competitive sport. But sometimes young people can take it too far. They don't think about those type of things in the moment because, you're only focused on the sport. Now, that game for St. John's and Providence, it was a close game. It's 40-39. The other game, I'm letting you know now that the UCLA is losing. They're getting the draws beat off of them by 27 points. So, I feel like the coach took the opportunity to make this a teachable moment for everybody on the team, okay? But the people on the internet, they're just biased. We've all played basketball for a long time. Things didn't pan out for us. Some of us wasn't tall enough. Some of us probably didn't play high school basketball because other circumstances happened to us. Maybe children or something like that. And the other people actually played, but just weren't good enough to make it to the next level or didn't have the right connections. So, I understand where the people are coming from, but they're not looking at it from the bigger picture. Now, if Jamerson does enter the portal and goes to a different school, which I highly think he won't, then that's on him. But a coach like that is the kind of coach you want to have coaching your kids. Because even when they're in the wrong, you have to hold them accountable. Nowadays, people do lack morality. They don't have no morals. People don't know how to take accountable for anything, be accountable for anything. So I am just like sitting back and chilling and just watching how it all unfolds. You let me know in the comments what you think. And make sure you hit the like button if you like content like this. That way you don't miss out on my next video. But before we leave, like I promised you at the beginning of the video, check it out. And you see for yourself, do you think it was necessary for him to...
Second, Mick Cronin is pointing to the tunnel for him to get off the floor and get out of the game. Cronin just kicked him out. He wanted to be a Michigan State manager.
There's just no reason to challenge that in this situation. If it's a one-point game and you can't give up any layups or dunks, it's more understandable. But, man, coach just told him to get to the locker room.